I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. If you can hear that howling wind in the background, it's because I'm standing outside on a very windy day of the Casey-Pomeroy House bed and breakfast located in the Historic Vistula district of Toledo. And I'm about to be shocked at how big the inside of this house is. Walking in the front doors is like walking back in time. There's 12-foot walls with 8-foot doorways, hardwood floors, tall Victorian windows, and fireplaces located in all the main rooms. We're going to go back in time a little bit as well, so you can understand how the current owner, Sue Burkett, attained this house and renovated it into a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, the original builder of the house was Theodore Buell Casey.
This is the year 1870, when Casey worked as a grain commissioner, moving grain by boat across the Great Lakes.
While they were in this home, 3 of their children died. Probably a tragic end to them leaving here. But when they left, the Worthingtons came. And John Worthington was a millionaire, and he had one daughter, and it was Hannah Matilda. And so Hannah Matilda met George Pomeroy. As I said before, it was rumored that they were married here, and then they were either gifted this house or they bought the house from their parents or whatever. But
George and Hannah were socialites. They loved to entertain and often threw big parties at their house. But their lifestyle also affected where the house went next.
George and Hannah Matilda had no children, and so then they gifted the house to the diocese. And the diocese acquired the property in 1924. Then the diocese had this property, in fact, this entire block, for 80-some years, 86 years. And then I bought it from the diocese. The Caseys, the Worthingtons, the Pomeroys, Catholic diocese, and then me.
Sue never intended to renovate a 145-year-old house. It kind of happened by accident.
My husband and I, we both love historic houses. We're really all about saving our historic properties, right? And Vistula is the oldest neighborhood in the city of Toledo.
The Casey-Pomeroy House went up for sale, and Sue was asked to simply take a look of the house. Mind you, the diocese had left the house by this time, so it had been empty for 8 years.
I came to take a tour, and I remember, when I came in it was just such a sad house. It was this big monster of 14,000 square feet. It was overgrown with bushes. The windows were all boarded up. It was dark. It was just, you could just tell it was a sad, sad house. But it had these wonderful bones and these beautiful arches and the chapel. And I was just really surprised by how much I loved the house.
So Sue bought the house and started renovations in 2003. Technically, she's still making changes today, trying harder and harder to get closer to the way that the original house looked.
So that when you came in here, you just didn't, like I said before, it was seamless between what was new, what's a new doorway, what's a new room, what's a new wing. It feels like it's always been there.
We could finish the story right there. The renovations are mostly finished and the house looks beautiful, but we're missing a main character in this story. It's the Historic Vistula district. And it doesn't take much to notice that the houses surrounding the property that Sue owns look dramatically different than the bed and breakfast.
It's inner city and it's really taken a beating, and there are a lot of HUD properties down here. There's a lot of stuff that's burned down. It takes a beating in the press for being a really unsafe place. Vistula's a historic district that's kind of been overlooked.
Sue thought that opening her business in this area would change that.
Well, I thought it would bring change. I mean, when we started, we thought, there's a tipping point of everything, right? It's just that one development that sort of tips it, and then the neighborhood changes. And we really thought that this would be part of that change. The problem is that every year that goes by, another house gets burned down, another house gets vandalized. And so the longer we wait on getting Vistula up and running, the less housing stock there is. I mean, you just drive around and you'll see blocks where there are empty lots. It's like me on this block. I am one house on this block.
Sue is still waiting for others to join her in supporting forgotten neighborhoods. to help her create that tipping point where, just like the Casey-Pomeroy House, the Vistula district can return to its former glory. But just because this change hasn't happened yet for the Vistula district doesn't mean that Sue regrets the renovations and her ownership of the Casey-Pomeroy House. In a way, it feels like it was meant to be. And I'll tell you why. As we finish the episode, Sue is showing me around the Casey-Pomeroy house. She quickly grabs a flashlight to show me the color of the walls. She had a very difficult time deciding this particular color because they didn't have any pictures of the original house.
The color that we really loved, this deep red, this just really regal royal red. So fast forward, I don't know, maybe a year, but many, many months, we were opening up a wall underneath the staircase, and behind that wall, we found the original paint. So I wanted to show you what that is.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's about the same exact color.
Yes. So
that's crazy.
It was kind of a fun little fact.
It's amazing.